Hi, how are you? Good morning. Those that it's during night time. How is your night? Welcome. Mukesh, good morning. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining this live, guys. We can consider subscribing and also liking the live for those that have not liked as we begin today's live. Welcome to this channel. How have you been? Are you doing well? How is your morning? Those that we are in the morning phase. Anyone? We should be telling maybe good night, but you, of course, will sleep after we are done with the live. How are you? Track, hi. Tracks, hi. Welcome to this channel. You can consider subscribing and also liking the live. How are you? How are you doing? Is life good? Before we begin our live, how is your life? How is life taking you guys? Track says life is fine. That's so. I'm really happy to hear life is fine. What about the coldness? I'm in a place that is very cold. Tracks, thank you. I can see your life is good. Mine is also good. Though the coldness is on another level. Maybe that is the only thing that is happening right now. Welcome, guys. Those that are coming in, welcome. Okay, goodbye. Maybe you can like the live as you leave. Thank you for the time that you've been here. Have a nice trip. Have a lovely one. And also subscribe to the channel. Those that have joined, welcome so much to this channel. I want us to look at the farming myths versus the reality that is happening or that is there, or what are people saying that is not true and what is true about farming. I was just doing a checkup of my viewers. I really like having an audience that is good. If you're not good, remember life will be better. Today it might not be good, but tomorrow it will be great. Thank you for those that are coming in. Welcome, and let's subscribe to this YouTube channel, and also let's like the live. Thank you for the likes so far. Thank you for the likes so far. Yeah, I'm also good. I'm doing great. So direct to what we are meant to do today, or before I introduce what I want us to do today, is there someone that would like to say something? Maybe is there someone that would like to say something? Let me hear. Someone with something to say. Welcome still as you join. I want to begin this live. I'll take the shortest, most possible time. I'll not take a lot of your time because I want us to go somewhere else apart from doing this sit down. But first, let us look at the farming myths. What have you been told about farming that is not true? What do you believe about farming? There's something that you tell yourself at the back of your mind that this is true, where else it is not true. And there's some other things that you've always believed that they are true and they are not even true. And there's some things that you think they are myths and they are true. So farming is very diverse, and farming, most of us like judging it from the aspect of what we have heard, what we see people say, what we see people do, and we tend to believe that these things are true, where else they are not true. So to begin with, I want us to look at the first farming myth, that organic foods are more nutritious. Organic foods are not even more nutritious. People tend to believe that organic foods are nutritious because they do not use synthetic pesticides or the synthetic fertilizers. So, as I was saying, organic foods are more nutritious. No, it doesn't mean that organic foods are more nutritious because you do not use pesticides and organic fertilizers. I even tend to think that those that are doing organic farming are really experiencing a lot of challenges since you believe you'll not use the fertilizers or the pesticides on your crops. What do you use? How do you solve the problems that you have in your farm? So that is a myth that organic foods are more nutritious. No, a food, whatever you will get in a naturally plant in an organic kale is the same thing that you will get from a farmer that has used all these other pesticides and the fertilizers. They help you increase the production as a farmer. And I think at the current moment most people have adapted to doing the chemical farming because they are quite easy and they are quite cheap. And I've not also seen someone do a research and tell us that these foods that have been planted or have been grown organically are more nutritious than the foods that have not been grown organically. So generally, I think that is a myth, and I think we should also get rid of that perspective that organic foods are more nutritious. Whatever you'll get in an organic and an unorganic plant is the same thing, is the same level of content that you will get. After all, I find that organic foods are the ones that even have more nutrients. This is because you have implemented some mechanisms to help them grow or to even increase their nutritional levels or to make sure that they grow effectively to the best and to the maximum of what you require as a farmer. And the next myth is that GMOs are evil. Oh my God. Like where I live in, the country, people people in this country refused to adopt the GMOs, saying that they have cancer. Has someone done the research on GMOs? How are GMOs related to cancer? I really don't want to believe that GMOs are related to cancer, but generally, GMOs are not evil. These are just things that scientists have come up with, or they have developed, or they have tried to figure out. Which, apart from this natural growing that these farmers are doing, can we try and plant these GMOs? But one thing I also don't like about the GMOs is that farmers tend to lose a little bit because if you're a farmer and you have planted, for example, an acre of maize, and then the government exports the GMOs maize, where will you sell your maize? It is not evil. It's not that GMO is also satanic or anything. But if you are in a country that the production is quite low, please let us encourage our farmers. As for personally, I would encourage each and every farmer to take place or to take that effort of growing your crops in your farm so that you can sell your produce and get that money at the end of the day. So many people are, so many people so many countries are facing some food challenges or the food levels challenges in their country just because their farmers are not doing much as expected, or just because you as a nation you have not put in all the all the considerations, or you are not taking place that positive step to see or to know how can this, what do these farmers require for their, for more growth or for more production. Therefore, for those that are in such countries, maybe we can also try to take that step personally as the farmers and see what we can do to increase our production, because I know at the end of the day we will also make some profit out of it. Others, please, if you're in a country that is also doing a lot of import, I don't know what you can do. Maybe if you are in a farmers union, you can try and come up with this mentality of let the government first of all purchase from its citizens at a very good price before choosing to import from other countries at a cheaper price compared to the one that the farmer is selling. I think that is beyond our reach, but beyond our efforts. But if you have that, if you can get that chance to change what is happening, let us try and change whatever is happening. To the next myth is that large scale agriculture is unsuitable. I even find large scale agriculture suitable. What do you mean by large scale agriculture is not suitable? Large scale agriculture is very, very suitable, because if you consider, if you compare, for those that are doing small scale farming, you're generally doing it either for family use or for family consumption or for a short period for a lesser population compared to those that are doing large scale farming. Therefore, there is no way that you will start saying that large scale farming is unsuitable. No, to my perspective, large scale farming is really doing well. Personally, being a large scale farmer, I'm getting a lot of money from farming. And let no one tell you that farming doesn't have money. Farming has a lot of good money only if you are willing to be a dedicated farmer, and is also if you are willing to learn. Take these steps or and learn what are these other farmers doing that I'm not doing, or what can I do as a farmer to improve the productivity level in my farm. Therefore, large scale farming agriculture is suitable. Let's all have this aspect of I want to try this and can this work for me. So if someone is telling you, maybe they're looking at, once you do large scale farming, the maintenance of your farm or the levels of maintenance will be a challenge. Please ensure that if you're considering to do large scale farming, you put all the necessary measures that you need to do, or you need to take. Sorry for that. If you be a close farmer, if you cannot manage, sorry for that, if you cannot manage the farm as yourself, if you have this large piece of land that is becoming a challenge for you to manage, you can find laborers who can help you manage your farm. So large scale farming, I think personally, is really doing well, being a practice of the large scale farming. Also love knowing, look at what are the climatic conditions in your region, and what are the favorable crops that you can plant in your region. Let no one tell you that large scale farming is disadvantageous. No, it is advantageous, because if you plant a acre of maize, maybe you harvest how many bags? Let's say you harvest 1,000 bags from that 1 acre. What if you did 10 acres? It means you'll harvest 10 times what you had planted. So let us practice large scale farming for those that have those large pieces of land. Even if you have a small piece of land, you can do large scale farming, because now things have really been improvised, like the container farming. A container is something that will occupy a very small space, but at the end of the day, the harvest that you will harvest from those containers will really be massive. Therefore, let us change that narrative, and let us adapt to the truth and the what is really happening in the farm or in real world, not what we are, the mentality that we have grown with, or what we have grown believing and knowing. To the next part is that, wow, this next part is very interesting. I don't know even what to say. How do people believe that farmers are Uneducated pumpkins. This is even very serious. Those that are joining, welcome. You can subscribe, consider subscribing to this channel and also liking the live. So, come to think of it, our farmers' pumpkins. Yo, that is very serious. Why would someone say that farmers are pumpkins? Yeah? Why are farmers pumpkins? Why do people believe that farming is not for the educated people? Nowadays, everyone is doing farming. That I think is the traditional aspect of looking at things. Since I believe right now people are even doing agricultural specializations in the school, and after that you can practice either agriculture or be employed in these agricultural farms. Like for me, I'm educated, of course. I have even a degree. So you cannot say that farming is not for the educated, or you can't say that farming is for the pumpkins. No, people say this because once you go to the farm, you'll get dirty or what. I don't know what people believe about farming. And this aspect of saying that farming is farmers are pumpkins or farmers are not educated is really a wrong narrative, because most of us have gone to school and most of us choose to do farming because either it is out of passion or because you realize this is a thing that people are really neglecting and it has some good money. I think one day I want to take you to the farm as I'll be doing the harvesting. I'll consider doing that live video. When I will be harvesting what I've grown in the farm, and I want you to see what will be the harvest at the end of the day. And I want us to approximate about on the either the amount of money that I'll get at the end of the day. And even farming does not require a lot of things. You'll just sit and wait as long as you've done all the necessary observations of the plant that you can grow in the climatic conditions that you require in your farm. At the end of the day, or the only thing that you can do maybe is the fertilizing and also the watering process. What else do you want to know to do? Or the small aftercare that comes with farming. So farming is easy. Let us not all take that farmers are pumpkins. No, I don't think a pumpkin myself, and I'm doing farming. So I think I'm doing well. So let us not take that narrative or that aspects that farmers are pumpkins. No, we are lovely people and we are doing well. Am I a pumpkin? Those that are still watching, am I a pumpkin? Now that I'm a farmer, am I a pumpkin? No, I'm not a pumpkin. So another myth that people tend to believe is that farming is traditional and low tech. Those that are joining, welcome. Let us consider subscribing to this channel and let us also like the live. What do you mean by farming is low tech? Technology has really improved in the recent world. And even as the farmers, we are adapting to this technology. So let us not believe that farming is low tech. No, farming now. Imagine farming has adapted technology in the greatest way possible, because these machines are doing everything for us as farmers. We are not even struggling. Can you see? For me, I have nails and I am a farmer. If I tell you I'm a farmer, will you believe? And I'm really doing large scale farming. This is because these machines are helping us. You do not even have to do anything as a farmer. The only thing that you need to do to consider is being an observant farmer and seeing what is the progress of your farm. Maybe let me read a comment as we continue. Those people abuse them that are poor and in the city sleep without food. Now is who? Those in the city, maybe I'll put a pause on the as a point that I had looked at and look at this comment. Those in the city, it is okay. It is by chance you are living in the city, or it is by choice that you chose. I do not want to live in the interior where there are farms, or I don't want to go to the farm. And you live in the cities. Do you know if you live in that city without all those food that we are providing as the farmers, what will you eat at the end of the day? You live in a piece that you live in a house that you have rented. You are not practicing any farming, and what you just do, you just go out, go to the market and buy what you have sold to those markets. Do you get that perspective? If you are living in the in the cities, most people that are living in the cities, they are either working in those cities or there is something that you're doing in that city. You cannot live in the city without the finances, and you cannot also live in that city without the food. that we farmers are providing with you, we are providing you each and every day. Some of those people, they are people living in the city, and they're also trying at least that small scale farming. You live in the city, and maybe the house that you have rented, outside you have a space. You now realize, since I'm having this space, let me try and do agriculture in this space. You go and buy these containers. I've told you they are very good farming containers that these people are selling. It is part of the development of the technology. They have helped us know that there are these containers out here, and you will go and buy those containers and try that small scale farming outside of your balcony. And at the end of the day, you will harvest. Even if you will not get the chance to sell, you will harvest, and you will be able to at least use it for family consumption. You will have saved the money that you would have gone to the market and purchased the foods from the market. Imagine those people living in towns are purchasing these foods at a more expensive price. This is because we will sell at a certain price after us, as the farmers have made that profit, and the person that bought for us that crop in the market will come and sell you at a higher price so that they can also make that profit. So I believe farming is really doing well. And do not use abuse. I can see he's saying those people abuse them that are poor. No, do not. Not every farmer is poor. Do not abuse the farmers. And people are also not doing farming because they are poor. No, people are doing farming because it's out of their passion, or it's something they love, or it's a source of income. For me, I tell you, the moment that you decide to do farming, farming has a lot of profits. That is the only thing that people do not know. And people tend to look at farming for the less privileged. No, farming is not for the less privileged. Anyone can practice farming. And at the end of the day, we all get that money. No one will say, I got this money from the my office job. It is okay. You're getting the money from the office job. I'm getting the money from my farm. At the end of the day, we will all have money, and we will all be doing well financially. For me, I cannot complain just because I'm doing farming. I'm not doing well financially. By me choosing even to get into YouTube is because for me, I didn't do agriculture in my educational journey. But after I was done with my campus life, I was like, no, this is something that I want to try. And where do I begin? I want to see what are these people doing, and what knowledge can I gain about agriculture. And that is when I joined YouTube. I came and realized there are many other crops that I can grow in my farm that I even didn't know. And I can also practice farming out of my passion. And once I tried that farming, I think I have a year now plus without even applying for a job. I've not done those emails and those applications since I started doing farming. Everything is at disadvantageous and advantageous. Let no one tell you. And if you're considering to look about an aspect in life, look at the positive side. You try yourself. Let people not tell you. Farmers at the end of the day, they get the losses. No, you try yourself and figure out. Just even start with a small scale farm and realize and try to look at it and get to know. Let me see if it's true that these farmers are getting a lot of losses. Look at it. Let's see people do it yourself and try to figure out and see if true it is these farmers are getting losses. People are making millions out of farming. Let no one lie to you. I do not practice that large, like 10 acres of farming, but I know I'm at least doing either 1.5 acres of farming. And if I'm getting that money that I'm getting from that 1.5 acres of land, what about those that are doing this large scale farming? It means they're getting a lot of money. So that was a touch on the comment that has been made. Thank you for commenting, Bate. Well, your name is really hard. You can consider subscribing to this channel and also welcome. So I was looking at the myth of these people that are saying that farming is traditional and low tech. We are all from that aspect of traditional farming. Those that are joining, welcome. Let us consider subscribing and liking the live. People have shifted from looking at farming as this traditional way of doing things. For example, traditionally, people could grow either one or two types of crops in their farm, either corn or either maize or beans. That is what they know, that is what is farming. No, currently farming is a whole lot of venture. Once you decide to do farming as a farmer, you will not, it will take you a lot of time to exhaust on the types of crops that you can grow in your farm. As long as you know what is your soil pH and what are the climatic conditions that you require to grow a certain crops, and what, among many other things, what do I need to put in my farm? What are these? What can I use to entirely get this profit that I require as a farmer? Remember, once you say we have not adapted to technology, you will be lying. As farmers, we are always on these online platforms learning. We are doing these classes to learn and see what we can we do better in our farms. Nowadays, since when you start planting, let us just be honest as farmers. If there is a farmer that is here, you can comment. Like for me, there is no way when I'll be preparing my soil, I'll go and start doing the whole digging that was done traditionally. When will I even be done with the digging of that farm? So I'll take the entire year to dig that farm. No, I just go look for a tractor, or that is not technology. That is technology. It's part of technology. I'll go get a tractor, let it cultivate my farm. After that, I'll go get another tractor, let it plant my farm. After that, I will do this natural, I will do the watering. I'll put the watering mechanisms. There are various types of watering ways, methods. For example, if you consider looking at drip irrigations, I'll maybe these tractors will plant my farm in rows, and they will observe the spacing that I will be wanting. If a crop requires maybe 2 to 3 feet of spacing, or this and this amount of spacing, the tractor, once it will be planting, the spacing should, they will look at that spacing. That is part of technology. After that, I'll practice my drip irrigation in those rows. I'll just have to put in the pipes, ensure the pipes have some holes, and then only connect them to one source of water and open. I'll just be opening the source of water and let the water flow in my crops. After that, I'll go and close that tap. Apart from the watering process, my seeds will now start germinating. Once they germinate, I will have some weeds in my farm. I will use again these machines or these technologies that have been improvised for me to do to take care of the weeds in the farm. Generally, farmers have adopted to the farming using technology. Maybe those that have not adapted technology, it's because they do not have the knowledge about technology, or it's because you have no, you someone has not told you about this technology, and someone has not shown you how can I do it technology, what can I do. Those are the people that maybe will be struggling with farming or adapting to technology. If you're a farmer, you have not adapted to technology, consider adapting to technology. Nowadays, technology is even cheaper than hiring the manual laborers, because these are people, they get exhausted. Machines can work for hours without requiring any rest. Do you get it? When it comes to harvesting, we are using these same machines to harvest. The machine will just come to your farm for approximately 2 hours, do the harvesting, and it's done. And you will take the next thing, you will take your whatever you will take your harvest to the markets and sell it at those good prices that you want to sell after you have gotten your profit that you want to get. So farmers have really adapted to technology, and I believe this aspect of not those that have not adapted to technology. Of course, there are those that they are not doing farming. And how will you adapt to technology that you don't even require? You personally, you're not doing farming. How will you even adapt to that farming technology that has been improvised? Okay, so that is the greatest myth, that farming is a tradition and low tech. No, currently tradition farming is not tradition, and the adoption of technology is a very high. To the next part, or to the next belief about farming, that all food additives are bad. That is the greatest myth. So let me ask, if you need to add, for example, if you want to do top dressing, one thing that I'll add to the maize that I'm top dressing in my farm is maybe a fertilizer like CAN, and they boost their growth. They will grow well, and you will get this nice maize harvest at the end of the day. So what should I put? if additives are bad. Okay, I planted with fertilizer in my farm. Now it is, I've given maize for an example. Now it's my time to top dress. And you're telling me if I add these additives to this maize crop that is growing, I will end up getting, they are not good. How are they bad? The only thing they do is the same thing as taking manure, I don't know from where, and adding it to your farm. Those that are joining, welcome. Consider subscribing and liking the live. So I don't generally understand what do you mean by should not add additives to the farm. That is the greatest myth that you can ever think of. As we are adapting to technology, these people have come up with ways of making us some good fertilizers. It is part of additive that we are adding to the farm. Imagine you'll add this fertilizer to your farm, and after you've added this fertilizer to your farm, the maize, it acts as a booster to whatever you have planted. It will boost the growth of what you've planted in your farm. And you will, at the end of the day, the growth will be so well. The growth will do well. Or you will get to harvest in large quantities. So this is the same myth that people are believing that organic foods are more nutritious. I don't know where it comes from, but we all know after the education that we have all gone through, we all know that these additives that we add into these crops are helping our crops do well, are boosting the production of our crops. Why would you just go to a farm and plant maize and leave them there and say, let me wait and I will come to harvest? You will not even, or you will come and do the traditional methods of taking aftercare. No, you have to put in effort as a farmer. Add this additive that people are saying they are not good. How are they not good? Someone prove to us, how are they not good? So that is a very bad myth that people are having. Another myth is farmers are overusing chemicals. This is true. I don't know now if I can call this a myth. There are these people with an analogy of you have to put chemicals even when they are not required. You are using chemicals in a bad way. This is what I mean. You as a farmer has decided you want to grow onions, and now you realize, when I'll be harvesting my onions, there will the market, the people that will, the sales in the market will be very high, or there will be no scarcity of these onions in the market. And now that you are a farmer that has planted onions, and you realize that now, because my onions are not yet ready, and they will be ready to take to the market when the demand when the supply in the market will be so high. So at the end of the day, I'll get minimal profit since the prices will be lower compared to when there is a scarcity. You decide to go and take a chemical that is used to dry weeds to dry these onions so that you can harvest. Now you see, at that point, you're using these chemicals in the wrong way. Because once you sell this crop, do you even ever think about what if I am the one consuming this crop? What if what I go and buy in the market has these chemicals? So as farmers, let us be considerate and let us be human in nature. Let us consider others before we consider money, before looking at that money. If you want to sell when the surplus in the market is low, then plant during the appropriate time, so that when the surplus in the market will be low is the time you will be harvesting. Not that you, just because the surplus now has spiked or it's high, you want to use these chemicals that are used to dry off weeds to dry your onions so that you can sell to these people in the market. At the end of the day, are you even cold? Don't you even have guilt, that guilt as a farmer? What do you feel? So as farmers, let us try to remove this myth from people that we are using excessive chemicals. And let us use these chemicals in an appropriate way. For example, there is no way you will go and buy a chemical that will help you remove pests that you do not have in your farm. You first of all have to notice, once I've gone to this farm, I've noticed some signs of of a pest that is really affecting my crops, that is when you'll go and get that chemical and use it to your farm. Why will someone use a chemical of a pest that is not even in their farm? Why will you try to treat a disease in the farm in that why will you try to treat a disease that is not in your farm? You guys, do you have all that money? No. And make sure by the time you decide to be a farmer, you have a budget that you draw before you start doing farming. That budget will help you stick to your expenses, because you'll realize once you're getting out of the expenses that you had maybe forecasted, you'll try to limit some other unnecessary expenses. And before you go even and look at what chemical do I need to put in this farm, you already have done a study and known which challenge am I facing, or which type of a pest or what type of a disease is affecting my farm. And then you can use the appropriate chemical. I do not think farmers are overusing chemicals. Where do you even have this all that money to buy all those chemicals that you will be misusing? Unless they want to mean that farmers do not have the knowledge or the type of chemicals to put in their farm. Huh? Imagine, we as farmers, you will really need to know this is the type of a problem before you even planted that crop. You know, these are the type of challenges I'm likely to face in this journey till when I'll be harvesting this crop. Okay. And now you will be able to know, if I see this, I know I'm being affected by this type of a pest. If I see this, I'm being affected by this type of a disease. And you will know this is the type of the corrective measure that I will take, or this is the type of a chemical that I will use. So there's no one with that much money to do excessive purchase and excessive use of chemicals in their farm. If you do not have that knowledge, I've told you, people in these online platforms are giving us ideas on how to troubleshoot on the various types of diseases or the types of pests that are affecting our farms. Let us first know what is affecting us, and let us now take that corrective measure. Okay? I'll put a pause and read a comment. Those that are still joining, welcome, and let us subscribe to this channel and let's like the live. Some Bate is saying, Aki, I'd really love to pronounce your name. It's a bit difficult, but I hope I'm doing it the right way. Yes, it needs to farm at the place with water. At the dry time, you will not regret. Yeah, is highlighting on the point of you need to plant up in a place that is receiving water, and or at a place that you can get water. If you are in these dry areas, if you I'm very sure is there a part that really doesn't even experience rain for maybe one season a year? I don't think so. If you are a farmer in these dry regions, you can consider doing harvesting of the rainwaters and preserving it for use when there will be no rains. Okay, scroll and see which type of ways, or which type of waste can you use to harvest the rainwater. Once you harvest the rainwater, they will help you do the irrigating when there will be no rains. So that is why I was saying those really rains do not determine what you do as a farmer. The rains are just there to help you as a farmer. When they're there, you can use it as a method of watering your farm. When there are no rains, you can harvest this rain and preserve it and use it when there are no rains. Okay? You can even buy these big tanks and harvest the rainwater. Wait for during the dry seasons. If you have a crop in your farm, use even drip irrigation to water your crops using the water that you had collected during the rainy seasons. So generally, watering and planting in places that you have adequate water is another aspect to consider. Those that are still joining, welcome. You can consider subscribing to the channel and liking the live. Another person was saying pesticides are unnecessary. Okay, pesticides are unnecessary. I'm facing that is the greatest myth. I have a problem with worms in my farm. How will I take care of the worms if I do not use pesticides? I don't know why people tend to paint farming as a very bad thing that you can consider doing. For me, I'll tell you, use these pesticides for you to be a productive farmer. Now, which method will I use to maybe take care of the worms in the farm? I don't want those worms. The worms are affecting the production that I get at the end of the day. So, which other control mechanism can I take if I will not be using those pesticides? You, as a farmer, use the correct pesticides, use the correct chemicals to deal with either weeds or to deal with the diseases in the farm, and be happy. Use them and get that positive production and get that money. It is a source of income like any other. It's like I tell someone, um, mm, wearing a suit to work is bad. So what will they wear when they are going to work? First of all, it is a requirement at your workplace. You need to wear that suit for you to go to that work. And now someone is here telling you that wearing a suit to work is not good. So what will you wear? What will you wear when you'll be going to the farm or to the work? So it's the same thing by telling us farmers that using pesticides is unnecessary. What will we use if using pesticides is unnecessary? So that is another myth. That is another myth that is really not good. Using pesticides as a farmer is effective. I've given you a comparison. It's the same as telling people that are going to those official jobs that you do not wear a suit to work. And it is a requirement in the office that you wear that suit. So what will they wear? It's the same way as telling us pesticides are unnecessary. What will I do as a farmer when I get that challenge or that problem with the pesticides? How will I solve it? So that is another myth that we should all should not buy. Someone else is saying organic farming is not economical. What do you mean by economical? These myths are very funny. How is organic farming not economical? How do you differentiate crops that have been organically planted and the ones that have not been organically planted? We all meet in those markets and we sell at different prices. And it is very economical because my production will be quite high. If I put in the organic, if I if I use organic farming, it means I'll have a better yield. And that yield is what I will increase, I will produce maybe twice as much as have produced if I'm not doing organic farming. How is that not economical? It will help raise the standard, the production levels, and it is a source. It is even as a source of creating employment or getting finances or improving living standards. So that is another really wrong aspect of thinking about farming. And others are saying organic is better than conventional growth. Anyway, each and every person will have an aspect about farming. And one thing I'll tell you, do not buy what people are saying until you have tried it and yourself see it's not working for yourself, or you discover it is a myth. Let no one discourage you about doing farming, taking all the beliefs that you have. Be open-minded to learn. Come and view or come and listen and know what are these other farmers doing in their farms, and work on your farm to become a better farmer. Let us not Do not be discouraged about doing farming because of what people believe. What people believe should not be what you believe. First of all, try yourself and produce and know, is it true what these people are doing? Do a survey yourself. Do not listen to all this negative energy or negative words that people are saying. I don't know why people like tinting farming. People are really, it, you listen to people speak about farming and you are like, is it the same farming that I'm still doing? Or it is a different type of farming that these people are talking about. Sijui farming is not for the educated. Farmers are pumpkins. We have gone to school and we are doing this farming, and we are getting some good money out of it. It's not that we are not educated, we are educated. How can you even, of course, by the time I'm trying farming, I know what I'm doing. I have that knowledge of farming. So you can't tell me I'm not educated. I am. So let us get rid of these negative narratives about farming, and let us practice farming intentionally. Let's be intentional farmers, and let us grow these crops effectively, or grow them as you require. Just grow them the way you want to do it. Do it out of either experience, or out of or out of what you know, or out of what you have learned, or out of passion. So that when you will be getting to this farming phase, you will not be discouraged by these negative voices that are always discouraging farmers. Farming is a good source of income. If you do not have any other source of income, you can consider doing farming. If you have another source of income and you still add to have a side source of income, farming is a side source of income. At the end of the day, you will be able to get some money, some good money from the farming processes or the farming aspects. So, to all the farmers, I wish you all the very best in your farm. I know you need it. I wish you all the best as you will be brainstorming and trying to figure out what you will be growing in your farm in order to get those profits, or in order to make your vision come to reality. You are looking forward to becoming this great farmer. Let no one discourage you, and always ensure that you take all the measures that are required, and you take the you view things differently, and you have these different aspects about life, and each and everything that comes with the life. I know for those that are farming, I know we are doing well. I wish we could have this forum. Someone will allow farmers to speak of the advantages of farming. That is when you'll realize that farming has a lot of advantages. That even once you try farming, there's no going back. For me, I tried farming. Nowadays, I don't even apply those for jobs. And then remember, I did a very different course. Maybe, do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? I want us to go to another different field. Yeah. So stay tuned. I want us to go to another. I want to look at another aspect. I want to take you to a nature walk. Is it a nature walk? No. I want you to view some nature. It's not a walk. I want to show you something. Is there any question? I'm done with the farming myths, and that is it for the day. I want to look at another thing. Any question? If there is any, I'll be answering as we continue to the next phase. So stay tuned.